Hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaliyah, and I figured that we would kind of do like a little like book themed like questions, like question answer, like a this or that, like any kind of bookish questions that I could find. That thought it'd be fun if I like did my own take on it. That when it comes to different topics and questions and just anything book related, put my views on it. Figured it'd be fun. Now, I literally just went on a website and just searched up some questions I thought would be really good to talk about, maybe make a discussion out of it. But in the future, if you guys actually want me to answer like you guys' questions, please, by all means, let me know. Maybe leave some questions under this video. Like, please let me know and I can do another video of you guys' questions and not just general questions about books. But without further ado, let's do this. Now, my first question is, what's your favorite book that you've read multiple times and what draws you back into it? Now, when it comes to rereading books, which actually I'm in the middle of a reread. If you watched my TikTok, as of right now, I'm reading the second book in the Queen. This is Queen of Myth and Monsters. The first book is King of Battle and Blood. I'm mainly rereading this because the third book in this series is going to come out in the next month or so. So I wanted to reread it in preparation of the new book coming out. But my favorite book that I've read multiple times, I don't tend to reread books that often. That's technically the only book. This series is the only book that I've reread. Like this one and the first book. So technically, like, it'd be this. But I have reread Binding and Keeping 13. And also, I think Fourth Wing. I have reread Fourth Wing just because I love it so much. But what draws you? My favorite book that I've read multiple times probably have to be Binding and Keeping 13 because I just like Johnny, he's just everything. Johnny's everything. Even though in Fourth Wing, I know like Zayden's like my number one book boyfriend. But when it comes to just, I don't know, it's just the story that's behind Binding and Keeping 13. I think that's what draws me back to that, to answer the second question, is just the story and how much like it's the most heartfelt story that I've ever read. It's one of my favorite plot lines of all time, the found family. It's literally my favorite thing of all time. Versus Fourth Wing, where it's a fantasy romance, so different elements kind of come to it. But story-wise, character-wise, I love Fourth Wing better. But story-wise and how the characters are a big part of it and what the characters bring to the table when it comes to the story, definitely Binding and Keeping 13. Second question. Which favorite author could you read exclusively for a year without getting bored? Thing is, Chloe Walsh is my favorite author right now. But the thing is, that you could read exclusively for a year without getting bored. I don't know if I want to continuously read those books for a year. I couldn't take it. But an author that I could read like forever if I had to. Damn, that's hard. Hold on. I don't even know. I really don't. Oh! I think definitely Anna Huang. I would say Anna Huang because I feel like in her books, like there's not been one book that I haven't liked, despite like Twisted Love. Twisted Love is like hit or miss. It was like an average book for me. Wasn't my favorite. Not saying I hated it, but definitely Anna Huang because I feel like every single man that she writes about, they're all different in their own ways. And I just feel like you get a lot of diversity when it comes to all of her books. And she has a lot of books out. So I feel like Anna Huang, definitely. If I had to choose one, it'd definitely be her. Because I just love how she writes romance, the spice, the plot, amazing. The FMC's phenomenal. Her bookmen are off the charts. I absolutely love them. Reese Larson, say no more. Say no more. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, Anna Huang, definitely. Next question. What's your favorite genre and how did you discover your love for it? Definitely romance. But in particular, like very in detail, Probably like contemporary romance is what I like. Contemporary and fantasy. When fantasy's done right, it is absolutely incredible. Like contemporary is like one thing. And how do you discover your love for? I am a romance whore. Romance is pretty much all I read. When it comes to fantasy, dark romance, whatever, I read every single genre when it comes to fantasy. Or not when it comes to fantasy, when it comes to romance. But definitely romance. My particular one probably would have to be dark romance. I love my dark romances. Absolutely incredible because those men are just on another level. Those men, because like fantasy men, like yeah, they're like way above them, but the thing is with their fantasy, when they have magic and shit, they kind of like, they're not on the same scale. But I feel like dark romance men, yeah, they're evil, they're morally gray, they've killed people, they're in the mafia, they've had like, they're really harsh topics that not all people like feel comfortable talking about. Like that's why I love dark romance. Like dark, heavy dark romance like is honestly impeccable. Discover your love for it. Like literally it's just my first dark romance I think I've ever read was, which was it? I'm trying to remember. My dark romance. I've read God of Wrath, but I think I've read something before that. I feel like I have. I don't know. I feel like Her Soul to Take, that one is a little bit dark, but I don't think it's more of like a fantasy because it has demons in it. But dark romance. What's that one book that I fucking read? Oh, Hooked. Oh my god. When I read Hooked by Emily McIntyre, that was my first like really dark romance. It was about like a kidnapping where he kidnapped her and all that. It was my first one, and that book was so good. My friend Brie was like, no, she didn't like it, but like I loved it. And when I read that, not like I had to finish for kidnapping, it's just, but like that's like, that was my first ever like dark romance besides like Her Soul to Take. And that just showed me what dark romance is capable of. And I'm just like, what other like genres are there? And then when I read God of Wrath, my first stalker romance, I'm like, oh my god, like yes, I swear, dark romance is like there's just so much to it. So much can be a part of it. They could be part of the mafia. They could be just someone very powerful, and then like, you know, someone like with a kidnapping. It can be so interesting and so fun to read about. I mean, they're not fun about the kidnapping part, but it's fun to see like what it's capable of. It's exciting to know like how they go from say a kidnapping to where they actually start to love each other and build a relationship. And like it's very interesting, very interesting to read. Next question. Describe your favorite reading spot and what makes it perfect for diving into a good story. Reading spot. I think my favorite reading spot is probably just the couch, which very soon, hopefully, I will be getting a reading chair because I currently have my Christmas tree, but once Christmas is over and, you know, we put the tree away, in that spot, I'm definitely gonna try to see if I can get a reading chair, like a nice big beanbag reading chair. I will do a whole like TikTok on it, or video if y'all want to see that, of my reading corner. I'm gonna make it very nice. But yeah, typically, for night reading, my bed. Normal reading, like during the day, I love to read on the couch. And I'm also a stay-at-home mom, so I, you know, every day I have to watch my son. So definitely, yeah, the couch is handy. It's comfortable. Sometimes I read at my desk, but my favorite part of the couch. And I just get a nice, like, I get a drink, get some water or some hot cocoa or whatever, and then just read my book. It's perfect. Perfect. Next question. What's your favorite opening line from any book and why does it stick with you? Ooh, my favorite opening line. I remember because I recently have read Saving 6 and Redeeming 6. That's also in the Boys of Tommen series. And there was not an opening line, but I remember like just some lines that are in there that have really stuck with me. Because when you read relationships like Aoife and Joey, you really like it kind of opens your eyes a little bit to where people like to how people in that situation, like how they think through things, what encapsulates their decisions, like what their thought process is, why they make certain decisions. And even though it's hard to make those decisions and they know they probably shouldn't be making those decisions, but they do anyway. And that book really shows you why those people, like, even though everyone is telling you, like, no, you can't be doing this, don't do this to yourself, or don't do this, or don't, or like do that, and you're not doing it, or anything like that. I just think that, like, stories like that really open your eyes. You're like, well, you don't know everything. You don't know everything that they're going through. You don't know the battle that they're fighting, literally with themselves in their heads. That little voice in the back of their head is telling them, like, you're a fucking idiot. You're going to ruin your whole life. Like, everyone's coming at you sideways. There's so much pressure and tension going on up here that literally all you can think about doing is just finding that one thing that calms everything down. And it's just, I don't know, just feel like it's not even opening line. It's just reading those kinds of stories really shines a light on how those people think and how much pain they're going through, and how much pain that you don't even know that they're going through, but you just think like, oh, well, you're just ruining your life by doing that. But yeah, but you don't know the reason behind why they're doing it. And that really sticks with me. And not just of like drug addiction, but just like a lot of things in life, like mental health, like things people have going on at home, or things like things that people are like afraid of doing, things like how I'm terrible at explaining things, I apologize, but like just how people make their decisions, what's their thought process, why people do the things that they do. It just really helps you, like it opens your eyes to really what people don't fully like process, and I feel like people need to take that into account more. But yeah, let me move on. But that really sticks with me, that story, and that's why. Your favorite fictional character would you most want as your best friend? Oh my god. Can it be multiple? Because I don't know if I can pick just one. Definitely Shannon from that series. And Jules. Oh my god, I would love Jules. Oh, Aoife too. Oh my god. But like, if I like stopped talking about like the Boys of Tommen, definitely Jules. I love Jules with a passion. She's from the Twisted series. Twisted Hate is her book. Like, I absolutely love her. She is literally like everything. I love her. Who is a book character that has stayed with you long after finishing the book, and why? Definitely, I mean, there's a couple, but if I had to pick one, a book character that has stayed with you long after finishing the book. Oh my god, like, his thing is, immediately I think of Shannon, but I'm trying to like go like past like the Boys of Tommen, but it's just Boys of Tommen is just my like probably my favorite like reading series of all time. But if I had to look beyond that, definitely Shannon. I will say Shannon, but if I had to pick another one from a different series, I don't know, there's a couple from a different series. Actually, I think now that I think about it, it's honestly probably Isolde from this series. And the reason why she has stuck with me is because like she is Queen of Rebecca, which is the city inside the country of Cardova. And she is a queen. Like this is like an arranged marriage type of thing. But the reason why she's stuck with me is because I like how she's one of those queens that, because she doesn't want to just sit on a throne and let everyone handle everything for her. Like she wants to be involved. She wants to fight battles for her kingdom. She wants to be present. She wants to really truly be there for her people. She's not just one of them like prissy pink princesses that like just wants to sit in a throne and tell people what to do. No, she wants to lead. She wants to protect. She wants to be there for her people. She wants to get involved. She wants to help her people, not just protect them, not to tell them what to do, but to actually make that like make her people feel comfortable where they're living. She wants her people to trust her, and she really wants her people to to know that she genuinely loves her people. She wants the best for them. She wants to protect them. She wants to make amends with them because they know that, you know, at first she was skeptical. But I love how she's involved, and I love her care for people. Like, she literally killed someone's father because her father was literally selling her off to the Blood King in exchange for immortality. And she literally killed them because he's like, you shouldn't be treated like that. I know that was your father, but you shouldn't be treated like that. She deeply cares for people. I just love the care she has for people and the amount of respect she has for Adrian. Like, yeah, that's her lover, but she also has respect for him. She has respect for the people, and especially the people that have sacrificed for so many years before her. Like, it's honestly insane. She is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite FMCs ever. Yeah, she's incredible. Who was a book character? Oh, I did that. What's your favorite bookstore and what makes it special compared to others? I haven't went to that many bookstores. The main books, like, I just, like, when it comes to my books, I ordered a lot of my books online, and they're just, like, from Amazon because they were cheaper. But when it comes to, like, local bookstores, of course, like, Barnes & Noble will always hold a special place in my heart. But there's also, like, little, like, used bookstores that are in my area that I love to go to because their prices are way cheaper. Like, because they'll have, like, really recent books, popular books that are going on, and they'll sell them for, like, $8. Like, it's really, really cool. Like, they'll sell, like, Anna Huang books for, like, $6. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. I really love to go to used bookstores because they tend to be cheaper, and the books are actually in pretty good condition. I forgot, like, the names of them, but, like, definitely there's one in my area that I love to go to, like, for used books. And, you know, I love to go there for the prices, and the people there are incredible. But yeah, but Barnes & Noble will always hold a special place in my heart because that's literally the place where I bought my first book. So literally, they will hold a special place in my heart always. Do you prefer physical books, audiobooks, or e-readers, and what influenced this preference? Now, I've done all three. I have a Kindle, I have physical books, and I've also listened to audiobooks. Now, when it comes to audiobooks, let me, like, clear this up right now. A lot of people think that when it comes to audiobooks, that because you listened to the book, you didn't essentially really read the book, or when you listen to a book, like, it doesn't count as you read the book. And I kind of, like, don't understand that because, like, if whether you listen to it or you, like, physically read it, either way, you're still getting the story one way or another. Like, yeah, like, in the literal sense, like, yeah, when you're listening to a book, yeah, you're not physically reading it and it's not the same. But either way, you're still, whether you're listening to the book or whether, like, you physically read it on a Kindle or the physical book, like, it's still being read. Like, audiobooks are more than just people who prefer listening to it. Like, hey, what if the person's fucking blind and they can't physically read the book? They listen to it. Like, what if, like, oh, when it comes to physical books, like, or sometimes people like to do both. Like, they'll, like, open the physical book, but they'll just have it read to, that way they can read it faster. That's kind of why I like to do audiobooks, to kind of get through a book faster. But that doesn't mean I don't still, like, consume the story. Like, even though I read it through an audiobook, like, Iron Flame and Onyx Storm, I did audiobooks for both those. And I still know what happened. I know what happened at the end of Onyx Storm. I know what happened at the end of Iron Flame. I know what happened throughout the whole entire time frame. Like, I just don't think that you're less of a reader if you listen to a book rather than you physically reading it. That's my take on it. But what do I prefer? I think, even though I love my Kindle, I absolutely love it, I honestly can't fucking, like, now, I don't know. Honestly, I think it would be my Kindle. Because I was going to say physical books, but, like, I love how when it comes to Kindle, it's very lightweight. So when you do, like, when you do night reading, I hate having to, like, you know, have the physical book, because it tends to get heavy. And, you know, the book light is a fucking whatever. I hate, like, this is why I mainly use my Kindle for my night reading. And also that way you don't have to do the whole book light thing. The Kindle, it lights up so that you can read what's on there. It's very lightweight. You don't have to, like, if it's a thick ass book you're reading, instead of like holding it like that, you can just read it on the Kindle. You can highlight things, annotate things, write little notes in there. You can take it anywhere with you. I just think, yeah, because of that, I love my Kindle. But I do also love my physical books. I love all of these. But if I had to pick, it would definitely be my Kindle e-readers. Absolutely. Do you ever listen to books while doing other activities, and how does listening to audiobooks compare to reading physical books for you? I've never listened to books while I do other things, because I feel like if I'm doing, at least for me, not saying like I think this is how other people do it, but I know for me, when it comes to audiobooks, if I'm like, say if I'm cooking or I'm cleaning and I'm listening to an audiobook, I feel like I'll be too focused on what I'm doing, like what I'm actually physically doing, and then I'm not paying attention to what I'm hearing. Like, it's kind of, it's different if it's like music, because like you already know the music most of the time, so you're just like, you know, whatever, you're like singing along to it. But if it's a audiobook where you really have to pay attention, or maybe I'm just not good at multitasking, I don't know, but I like to, when it comes to audiobooks, I love to have the book open and have the audio and listen to the audiobook as I'm reading it. That's how I like to read audiobooks. But I don't think I've ever listened to it, mainly because I won't be able to focus on the book if I'm doing something else. That's just me. And how does listening to audiobooks compare to reading physical books for you? Like I said before, I love reading audiobooks because I tend to read books faster if I do audiobooks, but I don't always do audiobooks because sometimes I like to take my time when it comes to certain books. I like to take my time, fully digest what I'm reading, and sometimes I'll just read it myself. But I do think audiobooks are a great tool if, you know, either you don't have the physical book and you just want to, like, you know, you just want to listen to it, know what happens. Or, like, hell, if you just want to listen to an audiobook even though you have the physical book, by all means do so. I do it. That's what I do. When reading series, do you prefer to binge read them or space them out over time? Definitely space them out over time. Like, take, like, The Boys of Tommen, for instance. When it comes to Binding and Keep It 13, when I read it, I read both books because they're both on the same couple, but definitely after that, I took a long break when it came to those two. And I just read Saving and Redeeming 6. I'm probably going to take a long break before I read Taming 7. But that's mainly because since these books are so trauma heavy and they're sometimes really hard to read, I definitely don't recommend when it comes to those type of series to not reread them back to back to back, because one, I don't think it's good for your mental health to consume all of that at once, and two, it just gives you a break. And also, like, I just feel like, and this goes for any series, not just Boys of Tommen, but I feel like if you were to read them, like all of them back to back to back, I feel like you would get kind of bored after a while being in the same universe. So that's why if I read, like, say, like, you know, 1 to 2 books, depending on what happens, I'll read like 2 books and then I'll switch to a few other books. And that way I get a nice cleanse and then I can go back to it. And, you know, I'll take as many breaks as I need to depending on what happens. Now, if it's something where, like, it leaves off on a cliffhanger and you have to know what happens, yes, I completely get that. But I just feel like even though it might have a cliffhanger, really, like, ask yourself, like, but do I really want to read another book in that universe? I might read something else. That way, it's less chances of you getting in a slump. I just think, like, doing that gives you a nice cleanse. That way you're not just, like, bored when you're, like, in the middle of it. And, yeah, it's a great way to do that. Do you prefer paperbacks or hardcovers? And does it depend on the type of book? Not really on type of book, but I do prefer paperbacks. Hardcovers, in my opinion, are way heavier. Paperbacks are, you know, they're nice. They're a lot more flexible than hardcovers. So that's why I tend to go for paperbacks. And not really, it doesn't depend on the type of book. Not really. I like all my books, despite what genre or whatever they are. I prefer them to be in paperbacks, definitely. How many books do you typically read in a week or a month? I try my very best to do 1 book a week, or at least I try to. I read King of Battle and Blood in a week. Sometimes I finish a book in 2 days. It really depends on the book. But I rarely try to do one book a week. If it takes me a little bit longer, maybe because I'm either in a slump or the book isn't as interesting to me, or anything like that. Sometimes if it's a little more slower to get into or I'm not really into it, I might take longer because I have less motivation to read it. But definitely if I'm like in the book, like definitely, I will definitely finish it in a week or even less depending on it. But a month, typically like 3 to 4 books a month, maybe 5 depending on how fast I read them. Do you prefer reading indoors in complete silence or outdoors with background noise? Definitely outdoors with background noise. I remember when I first started reading, that's typically what I did, because when I was at my parents' house, they had like this swing on the tree. I would always get my book, get like a blanket, and go on that swing and read, because I love like, because I really don't like complete silence. I like, even when I read inside, I have to have like music playing in the background, or I put like I don't know what it's called, like an essence or whatever. Like, what's it called? Here, let me check. For ambience, I love to do ambience in the background, where it's like a Christmas tree or fall, or like a fireplace crackling, things like that. I love having that while I read. I have to have something in the background when I'm reading, because if not, then I'll kind of like, I don't know, I'll get uncomfortable, if that makes sense. I like something always in the background, definitely. But yeah, definitely if I had to choose, outdoors with background noise, absolutely. What's your current reading goal and how do you track your progress? My current reading goal, it's literally the 20th of December, so I'm taking this into account, like next year's goal. Next year's goal, I want to plan to read 40 books next year. And how I keep track of my progress, I have my app called Fable. I highly recommend Fable. I definitely prefer it over Goodreads. Because literally ever since I had Fable, my friend told me about Fable, I literally deleted Goodreads, because I like, literally Goodreads just sucks in my opinion. I much prefer Fable, because Fable literally will give you a chart of the whole month, and it'll tell you what books you read in that month, how long it took you to read those. Literally it'll show you your reading goal, how many pages you've read. Like, literally it shows you at the bottom of your page like how many books in a particular author that you've read. Like, it's a great reading tracking guide. Like, I absolutely love it, and that's how I keep track of what I'm reading. Now we're gonna go to popular bookish debates. We done the physical or ebooks, definitely ebooks. Series or standalone novels? Now for me, it depends, because when it comes to a series, I love reading series. I do kind of have a love-hate relationship with series that are incomplete. Now, if it's a complete series, say if it's a series like a trilogy, let's say, and it's of one couple particularly, I absolutely love it. I love those when it surrounds one couple and it's just, say, like 2 to 3 books. I love trilogies. Trilogies are probably like my favorite type of series to do. But when it comes to standalones, like, see, my favorite standalone of all time is Birthday Girl. I absolutely love that book. And I love standalones because, say, if you just finish a series, sometimes instead of jumping into another series, I like to just like kind of cleanse myself with a little nice standalone, just something nice and quick and fluffy, giggly fun, and then you can move on to another series. But if I had to choose them, probably a series. That way it's just more for you to read and more for you to enjoy, especially if the series, whether it's a series with one couple or whether it's a series where it's different couples in one series. I definitely love series more because there's just more to read. And I love, like, when a series, it has different couples, different point of views, but in the same universe. I absolutely love that. But I also like standalones because you kind of get a cleanse. It's just a nice, quick read that you can just pick up and enjoy. They seem to never fail when it comes to me, but definitely series are nice. I love series. Romance or fantasy worlds? Romance. All day long. Long books or multiple shorter books? Ooh. Long books or multiple shorter books? Honestly, I feel like it'll be more enjoyable if, in my opinion, if it's multiple shorter books. Because if it's just one big long book, I'm just gonna be like, bro, like I'm gonna like because if it's just one big book or like two really big books or whatever the case may be, like I just feel like it's not as enjoyable versus or as much enjoyable. Maybe for different people it's different, but in my opinion, if it's multiple shorter books, it gives us an opportunity to possibly take breaks depending on what happens into it instead of just shoving it in one big book. Sometimes, yeah, I guess if you want to finish it quicker and, you know, the author just wants to, you know, get it out to you instead of making it into shorter books, definitely one big book might be better in that case. But if, especially like depending on it really depends on the story. If it's like, say if it's a fantasy, I think shorter books, I think it'll be a lot less overwhelming. I think when it comes to a fantasy, multiple shorter books will make sure that the reader doesn't get confused too much if too much is in one book. But that's my take on it. I don't know if it's different for any other people, but I think multiple shorter books would be better in case you want to take breaks in between. If you want to just like, I just think it'll be easier to absorb all the information if it's in shorter books. But that's my opinion. Reading at home or in the library? At home, definitely. Book covers that are beautiful or book covers that are mysterious? Both. Both. I don't know. Because there's a lot of covers that are insanely gorgeous, but they suck. So I don't know. But there's also some covers that are beautiful, but the book is great. So I don't know. Probably, yeah, just book covers that are beautiful. Because if it ends up not being good, they're beautiful on the shelf. So fiction or nonfiction for personal growth? Fiction, obviously. Audiobooks while commuting or prefer reading in complete silence? Probably while commuting. I think that's better. Ooh, now we get to character and plot preferences. Enemies to lovers or friends to lovers romance? I don't know. Oh, I love both of them. I do think enemies to lovers might be a little over friends to lovers, because when it comes to enemies to lovers, the hatred that they have for each other when it comes to them as a whole before they're even in the relationship, I love the tension, and I love how, like, even though they're starting to develop feelings, they like refuse to like admit it. And I love the angst, I love the yearning that the men may possibly give. Like, I love it. And I love how like just finally when they just like finally admit what they're feeling, and I'm just like, I love a good enemy. If it's a true enemies to lovers, because there's some books that might call it enemies to lovers, but it's really not. But if it's a true enemies to lovers, I love the angst, I love the tension, I love the building of that. And then like, I love how when they absolutely just hate their guts and then they slowly like get used to each other's company, and they love that they have that sort of like tension, because that way like that's just what makes them them, that what makes them unique, that's what makes them stand out. Like, I love it. Multiple POV or single narrator? Ooh. I don't know. Multiple POV? I don't know. Damn, that's hard, because there's a lot of books that I did that I've read that single POV that I absolutely love. And because like because the Empyrean series, most of it is in Violet's point of view, but then there's them last little chapters that are in Xaden's point of view, and it like destroys the whole book. Not like destroyed like in that kind of way, but I mean like it literally, that's when it's in Xaden's POV, that's where the plot twist happens, and it's like absolutely insane. But multiple POV, I do like multiple POV because say you have the girl's point of view and the man's point of view. I like having, I know people are subjective about the man's point of view, but I think in my mind, when you have a man's point of view along with the girls, I think it shows you how the man is thinking. It's not kind of like leaving you in the dark. But I also really like how like that you don't know what the guy is feeling. You only know what the woman's feeling. I think it does make it more interesting because you don't know what he's feeling. So I think I like that instance better. So I think I'm gonna do single narrator, because I think that gives it that little glimpse of mystery because you don't know what he's feeling. And that kind of like adds to the story where like you don't know what he's thinking, you only know what she's thinking, and I kind of like that little bit of mystery. Happy endings are realistic, sometimes sad endings. um I've never really read a series where it doesn't have a happy ending. Y'all can recommend some to me if need be, but just in a general sense, I feel like happy endings are always amazing, but I feel like realistic endings where like sometimes not every story has a happy ending. Sometimes it just is what it is. I have really great respect for those types of endings. And I would love to read some of those, but because I've only read happy endings, I'm just gonna go with happy endings because that's just all I've read. Complex villains or clearly evil antagonists. Ooh, I like complex villains because like when there's villains where like yeah they approve to you as evil, but like like underneath all that evil there's like a really say like a traumatized person or a person that's like really hurt on the inside. I love how that when it comes to it, like where they're not, there might seem evil on the outside, but there's a lot of things like that contribute to that evil, and I love that. Fast-paced action or slow burn character development. Slow burn all day long, whether it's spice, freaking character development, slow burn. Like when it comes to the plot, I absolutely love a slow burn because it keeps you hooked on there. If it's just like happen, I feel like it kind of ruins it. When it's nice and slow and it slowly builds up, that angst and like you just like bro, what's happening, like it makes you so much more excited, I feel. And that's why I love slow burns, especially when it comes to romance. Like it is so, because the reward of when it finally happens, it's so rewarding, and it you know what, and you're like, you know what, it's worth it. It is so much worth it. But character development, yes, absolutely. Because say like with Joey from Redeeming Six, his character development was very, very slow. It was a lot of back and forth, but I love how in the end, after everything he went through, he became an amazing person, and he finally got sober. He stopped using drugs. He was a better person overall, and a better boyfriend for Aoife, like a better father for his son, like literally everything. Love it. Detailed world building or character focused stories. Ooh, I feel like world building, because I feel like when it comes to character focused stories where it only focuses, because I feel like you can have both. I feel like you can have a detailed world building, but also have the characters be the main focus, but also like how they contribute to the world building. But if I had to choose, definitely world building, because at least if it has plot, how the character fits into the plot will make much more sense. Classic meet cute or slow burn romance? Yeah, slow burn all the way. Absolutely. Ooh, character development. Ooh, which main character did you connect with most, and what specific traits drew you to them? Ooh, I feel like Shannon. Shannon is one that I really connected with, because it's just because I relate to her on like a physical level, because I also come from an abusive household, not physically like she did obviously, but I had literally pretty much the same issue with my parents, because like her parents were like, oh, despite that he was so abusive, like literally doing nothing for the family, only causing harm, she would let him go, but then she would just take him back in. Or she would always tell us like, no, everything's gonna be okay, he's gone, but he's slow. She just eventually takes him back, and then everything keeps happening. It's literally in this continuous loop. That's literally how my parents were, where my mom and my dad, they were very toxic for each other. They were constantly fighting. Sometimes it would get physical, but only between them two. They weren't physical towards us. but they were physical towards each other. Where my dad would sometimes hit my mom. Sometimes, literally in the morning after the fight, literally I would see bruises on my mother's arms. Like literally, it was horrible to see. And to this day, I still don't talk to my family really because of all that hurt. They caused me really, really bad anxiety to where I had to get professional help for it. And like, it's, yeah, it's devastating. And thing is, like, when you grow up in that sort of environment, like, everything, like when it comes to your relationships, your friendships, like just even decisions you make in your adult life, things from your past do affect how you make decisions. It affects how you treat people. It affects how you handle certain situations. Like because when parents like go down your throat and are like, oh, well, I did this for you. Yeah, but like all that trauma that you filled me with, I literally have trouble going outside because I'm so anxious around everything. I'm anxious about everything, certain things that I do when certain things happen in my life. Like, I can't stand people even raising their voice to me, because if not, I'll just bust out crying, because I'm just so used to, like, my parents just yelling at me and yelling at each other, and I hear them call each other literally every name under the sun. And thing is with Shannon, even though I don't relate to the physical being of that, but it's just how their relationship kind of like, it's a lot with mine. Like I really connected on that sort of level, and I knew exactly how she felt. But yeah, definitely her. How did the main character change? Hold on, let me move down here. Move down here. Ooh. Where's she? Ooh, here we go. Engagement focused questions. What's currently on your TBR list that you're most excited to read? Ooh, oh my god. Oh yeah, definitely ACOTAR. Because I have yet to read ACOTAR or anything from Sarah J. Maas yet. And everyone, like, literally everyone says that ACOTAR or Throne of Glass or Crescent City, all those series, everyone says it's like their holy grail. And I'm just like, I want to be a part of that fucking universe. I want to know what it means. Oh my god. What's the last book that kept you up past your bedtime? All books keep me up past my bedtime, but if you want to talk about the book that I've literally lost sleep over, definitely Archer's Voice. Archer's Voice literally kept me up for almost 2 days. It was absolutely insane. Let's see. Ooh, what's your favorite book to movie adaptation? There's not that many, but probably, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Because the first thing that comes to my head is The Hunger Games. But also, I don't know. I would say Twilight, but I don't know. I feel like Twilight books are way better than the movie. So I'm not sure. Ooh, wait, I know one. There's this book called Everything Everything, which if you don't know what that book is, it's pretty much a story about a girl who is allergic to everything. So where literally she can't go outside at all or she'll die. And when she's inside, she has to read certain colors, she has to eat certain foods, there's foods she can't eat. When she goes inside, when people come inside the house, they have to be completely sterilized or else she'll get sick and all that thing. And when they did the movie, I thought it was incredible. I loved that movie. Oh, ooh, which book made you fall in love with reading again? In my experience, because I was in a slump for so many years after I had my son, and literally, like, the book Chasing Love was what got me back into reading. Absolutely love that book. It's a very drama-filled book, so I feel like that's why I'm like, oh, this is what I miss about reading. All the drama, the love, the romance, the plot, like, all the characters, like, I love it, and I miss it. Ooh, what is one book everyone in your life needs to read? Archer's Voice. Archer's Voice. May I say more? Ooh. Oh, if you could have coffee with any author, what would you choose? Probably Chloe Walsh. Because I feel like she's an author that, like, she literally creates her stories based on her life. And with everything that she's written in the Boys of Thomas series, I want to ask her so many questions. Oh, and also Rebecca Yarros. Girl, because what the fuck are you thinking? Like, girl, you have ruined my life with that book in such a good way. Oh my god. What's the most unusual place you've ever read a book? I guess the bathroom. I don't know. Like, I sometimes literally will read a full book in the bathroom. Like, if I'm on the toilet, I take my Kindle with me, just read in the bathroom. I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna do one more. I'll do one more, and then we'll call it a day. Ooh, what book do you wish you could experience for the first time again? Oh my god, it would probably be Binding Keeping 13. Literally, like, before that series, I have missed so much. That book really influenced me to continue reading, because after I read Chasing Love and I really got back into reading, I think I read like King of Wrath, and then I read those books. Literally, those books like jump started me getting back into reading, because I'm like, bro, whoa, these type of books exist. Like that feeling. Like, I literally cried reading that book. I have never cried that much reading a book ever. And I would feel anything to feel that again. Like, literally, absolutely incredible. That, I cannot recommend that series enough. People might say, oh, it's just a trauma dump, or, oh, like, these characters, like, don't align together. These characters are stupid. That character, like, oh, it's not relatable whatsoever. I don't care one bit. I love all of these characters, each in their own individual way. They're all incredible. Like, this is the best found family I've ever read. It is such an amazing series, and Chloe Walsh, I absolutely love you. And you need to keep up with them damn books, girl, because Lord, you getting money from me. But that is the last question that I'll be answering. This video has gone on for a long time. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I feel like this is a great video. I love this. I love like answering questions and giving like my take on it, because I feel like a lot of people like kind of like don't like to do that, because if they feel like if they share their opinion, they're just gonna get backlash and shit. And that's a valid feeling, but I like doing that. I like knowing different people's opinions and how they feel about certain topics. I love having that conversations, and I absolutely love it. And if you do want me to do a video on you guys' questions, you guys asking me questions, by all means let me know. I would love to do that. Yeah, leave questions down below, or just leave a comment to say hi. I will be answering every single comment. Literally, I will literally have to stay up if I have to. I will answer every single one of your comments. I will be reading them. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you liked this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want to. But yes, as always, love you all. Stay safe. Merry Christmas, by the way. It's the 20th right now. 5 days till Christmas. Love y'all. Merry Christmas. But yeah, I will update y'all.